Great decorating is all about the details, including a gorgeous textured set of coasters. How we love a coaster. Functional. And why not be beautiful? Quince has a gorgeous set of woven rattan coasters in 3 terrific colors with their own little holder that you're going to absolutely love. And if you haven't visited quince.com/DTT yet, get on over there. It's everyday elevated living without the markup. From crisp 100% linen bedding and soft organic cotton towels to airy curtains and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And the best part? Like Quince's clothing, their home goods are half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. Hi, everybody. It's Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is another Decorating Tips and Tricks Plus, where you get more of us. Today, we're talking about, should your holiday decor match your home's interior color scheme? It's a burning question, and we wanted to address it.
Well, I was thinking more than just the color scheme, but kind of the feel of the house as well.
Sure. We can kind of add that in, off-road a little bit on that. Sure.
Okay. Because I think it all plays in here. And I think this is an interesting question. And although I don't see this discussed much online, I think people are asking themselves this question. I think this is something that maybe people are thinking, but they don't actually ask.
Yeah, because maybe it sounds silly when you say it out loud, but not with us, not with our people, because these are the kind of questions that our audience and we love. We want to get deep into this, and we want to talk about it and think about it and then make the right decisions for ourselves. Because if you're going to do all of this decorating, you should feel good. And at the end of the day, you need to love it. I have heard that holiday decorating is also referred to as dopamine decorating.
Oh, interesting.
And dopamine makes you happy. So let's really nail this and make you super happy, not only during the process, but with the results. So I guess there are 2 camps: the traditional, and you would imagine it's the reds and the greens and maybe some metallics, and then the non-traditional colors that may match your colors of your usual home decor, or as Anita says, the vibe of your house.
That's right. You have typically gone with the green and red, and whereas I really don't like using those in general. So yeah, we have a different approach on this traditional color. Yeah, so if you've got blues and pinks and grays, should you use red and green?
I'm taking a stand for the more traditional colors. Now, is it easier for me in a sense because my general color palette in my house is white, black, gold, and green. And so it's easier to mix in the traditional reds, or it doesn't have to be that Christmas red that you conjure in your mind, but some sort of red, and then some sorts of greens. And I like to use different tones and shades of those 2 colors. I did use a palette one Christmas that was not involving any red, and it kind of fell short for me. It just didn't feel as festive. And maybe because I don't have that much color in my house in general, it felt like at the holiday time that I really needed to use the red. And I do love red.
It's a very rich, vibrant color. So if you're used to that and you're not using it, I think it does make a big difference. And, it goes back to the complementary colors too. If you have the color opposite of red on the color wheel, then you're really going to miss the red. And that's the problem with some of the color drenching when you just go with one color, is a lot of times these rooms need some balance. So I can see why you missed the red.
Yeah, absolutely. It just felt like there was kind of a hole. I like that you're saying, like, yeah, you need the counterbalance. So not only for the nostalgia aspect of it, but because it really needed that oomph. It was very pretty what I did. But, when I noticed it the most, well, my family was kind of like, oh, okay, it looks nice, Mom. But I noticed it most when I took the pictures, which is your ultimate tip. When I took the pictures, at that time I was blogging a lot, and I took a lot of pictures of the house and all the decor, and I thought, it looks nice, but it just doesn't evoke this feeling that I wanted, and it just felt a little flat. But that being said, my house can incorporate the red for the period of time of the holidays. It works with what I've going on. If I had a lot of color going on, it might feel like too much. Also, my house is very traditional in a sense. It's a very old house. So going with the more traditional route in general, Anita had mentioned not only the color palette, but also the vibe of the house. It works with my house. So it makes me feel good, and it works with my house. I'm going with it. So the reds are coming out every year.
I think it really does depend. I mean, for you, the red's very important. These colors are very important. So even if they don't match your house exactly, I think that's fine. It really kind of depends on you and your family. And maybe your tree is very rustic with handmade things on it. I mean, if you live in a cabin, it doesn't make sense to have this Swarovski crystal on there, or maybe these high-end ornaments that you bought at Harrods. I mean, I think that, you kind of need to go with the decor of your house to some extent, but it also needs to make you happy. But, the interesting thing is I think people are drawn to a certain look. So if they like kind of very high-end things in their house, then they're going to choose more high-end decor for their decorating, for their tree. If they want something very kind of rustic and handmade looking, then that tends to be their entire house in my experience. So I think people in general do kind of match it as far as the highs and lows of whatever their design aesthetic is, down to these color issues, because it's been drilled into us that green and red are the official Christmas colors. I think we discussed this earlier, that it really goes back to some Coca-Cola ads from the 50s, I think.
That's Santa.
Right.
That's Santa face.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of fought that over the years. I mean, my decor in my house is more cooler colors. And so a lot of my ornaments on my trees are the cooler colors, the pinks, the blues, the silvers on the tree. So, and I like that. It goes well, I think, with my house. But I have added these red and green plaid plates to go with my Spode Christmas plates, which don't have a lot of red, but they have a lot of green. So I am adding that in. That's not really going to go with the rest of my house, but I guess so be it. It just goes with the other table stuff. And I have some vintage green and white dishes. I think they're from Germany. Really pretty green and white. And so I also get those out to serve with. So I didn't have to go with the red, but I think I'm going to try that this year and just see how it goes. And if I just feel like it's just too much red, then I'll take it out. I'll send it off to you, Kelly.
Perfect.
So we'll see how it goes.
I can't stop using dupe.com. This is an amazing website, service, best friend. I absolutely love it. So you find something that you really want and it's too expensive, it's a budget buster. Then you use dupe.com and you can find almost the exact thing or very similar products for much less. So I was crushing on this incredibly gorgeous coffee table. I had it in my mind. I had it in my Pinterest boards. I had it everywhere, but I just didn't have it in my house because it was too expensive. When I learned about dupe.com, that was the first product that I tested. And boy, did I find some amazing dupes. And I purchased one. So the original was almost $3,000. And Dupe showed me many choices, all the way down to under $200. Now, you may think something this extraordinary is hard to use, but it's so easy. Just type DUPE.com// before any product URL in your browser, and boom, it instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account required, no sign up required. It's completely free. That's completely FREE free to use. Stop wasting your money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today. I think you have to take some things into consideration when you're deciding which way to go. And I do think it matters where you live. If you're living in a really warm climate, like you're in Miami, you might not want to go with the traditional red and green. It just doesn't really evoke what's happening in the space. But maybe you do greens and pinks. And it depends on even the architecture of your house. If you've got a house that's really mid-century, then putting up a tree that's all red and green with little log-shaped ornaments on it might not really work. Maybe you want to stick with something that's a little bit more mid-century. What I would caution people to think about is you don't want to have your Christmas ornaments look too commercial and too contrived. Personally, I don't like that for your holiday decor. I think holiday decor should be very personal. It should reflect you and your family and things collected over the years. Now, if you're just starting out and you haven't collected anything over the years, well, of course, you're going to have things that maybe you bought a couple of boxes of new ornaments, or maybe you decide to get vintage ornaments and you start your collection that way.
Maybe you're torn and you cannot decide. And that's when the 2-tree option does come in. Like say you want something elegant that matches your decor to put in your living room for the guests to see, for you to see every day, then you can do that. And then if your kids are clamoring for, all their handmade things, or, the red and green, and maybe that's not you. So I think there are a lot of arguments for a 2-tree system.
The 2-tree system. Yeah. But when they see their little macaroni ornaments on the B level tree, I don't know.
Well, no, you don't present it as the B level tree. You present it as this is your personal tree, your private personal tree. See, it's all in the marketing.
It's
Kelly.
all in the marketing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But yeah, once you're in a place in your life where you do have a big collection, and some of it is handmade by people that that you've given birth to, you're kind of hard pressed not to put them on the tree. I think it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Harkening back to those two camps, so it sounds like I'm on team red and green, and you're on team going with your palette. Is that right?
Well, what I would say is that's my personal approach, but I'm not going to put that on other people. I'm not going to tell other people if they don't do that, that's wrong. I'm just saying that's my preference. And if you don't do that, you're not wrong. You're just doing your own thing.
Oh, absolutely. But for purposes of this discussion, I think that's where we land. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not agreeing on this one.
Well, not for my personal approach now. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So have you started decorating yet, Anita?
We are starting today. I know a lot of people are shopping today, but we're decorating and we are avoiding the crowds. How about you?
Oh, right. So is this Black Friday when this comes out? Oh, I never got that whole thing. I have to say, are the deals really that good? I don't know. But anyway, I am not shopping this day. Maybe online, maybe in my pajamas, but not in a place.
Online, that could be happening.
That could be happening in between. Yeah, we're going to start this year a little earlier than we normally do. I usually do not start on this weekend. I usually wait until the first couple of days of December, but our live tree is arriving on the 7th. It's going to get delivered from the girls' high school. I even paid for delivery this year, so it could just show up. Easy peasy.
It's a little different here because Evie isn't coming over as much. So maybe we should have put it up before now because she's not out here every weekend. So, she may just see it a couple of times this year. And really, the tree in many ways is for her.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about, right? If you have just people coming over, to put it up soon enough that everyone can enjoy it.
I can't put up a tree before Thanksgiving. I feel like I need to give Thanksgiving its due.
Well, that's the way I feel, but a lot of people, it's my understandings, are now starting the beginning of November.
Well, if you're doing a big thing and you're having a lot of people over, it is effort, even though it's dopamine decorating. So enjoy whatever kind of decorating you're doing, whatever color palette you use, whatever degree you're doing, whatever holiday you're celebrating, right? We end up talking a lot about Christmas because that gets the most decorating. Enjoy everything.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.